So I said I thought I might have burnt my Hawaiian pizza, with my pineapple and ham on it. But I really just needed to set the temperature to aloha temperature. Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, everybody. I tried to tell that joke last week, and I couldn't tell it because I wasn't wearing a microphone. So I told the joke last week, but nobody got to hear it because I wasn't wearing a microphone. So I had to recycle the joke. Well, hello. Look, we have Ivy. Ivy, you have a button. It's a morning button, though. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. Welcome to the Artistic Biker Live. This is where we just gather around and have a good time chatting with each other and art with my besties. And it's like my favorite night of the week. I just get to sit around and push some color and talk about whatever comes up in the chat. I thought, oh, Claudia missed the joke. I thought that since we have been doing this night show now for about 6 months, that we might go through and do a review and a critique of some of the things that we've done, some of the things that I've done. And I did put out in the description, if you'd like to participate in the critique, go ahead and send us the works. And on the works you want critiqued, put critique in the subject line, because I'm not going to critique it if you don't want to critique. And it's a friendly critique. This is all we're looking for ways to improve. This is not a you suck, you should never pick up a paintbrush again, because I get enough of that up inside my head. So we're not going to do that anymore. Or I really don't have. You know what? I honestly haven't had that problem in years. I haven't had that problem. That's funny. That's good. That's fantastic. All right. So what I wanted to do tonight is just go through some of the paintings and let's talk about let you guys talk about what you liked, what you didn't like. Help me get better, because that's part of the process too, is growing. So first things first, I got to get to the right camera. I don't want to turn the rotator on. I don't need to change cameras over and over. I just need to get to the camera where you can see the paintings. And so we'll start with the alligator. And I think on the vertical side, let me see if I can do anything about that. I'm not sure I can do anything about that. I think on the vertical side, I can zoom out a little. That'll let the vertical people see the majority of the painting. Give me just a second. I know this is riveting entertainment on the horizontal side, because you can't see at all what I'm doing. But hopefully on the vertical side, they can at least see the center of the painting. So this was an alligator. This was the first one we did this year.
Rick says you can always critique me if you want to. I'll try not to cry too loud.
Oh yeah, you promise not to cry. That's the important thing, is you have to promise not to cry. So here's my alligator. And my first thing is I feel like it's out of focus. I feel like the edges could have been a lot sharper. And my problem is that I am a fan of this, doing work like this. This is my favorite kind of work to do, this illustrative stuff where it's ink and wash. This is my favorite work to do. And we did an alligator, this alligator and this alligator on the same night. And I'm so used to doing this that I have a hard time finding the edges on this. And so that's my first critique. I think the second thing that I would say is that the background colors don't contrast the foreground colors very well. I don't feel like the animal is separated enough from the background. But I probably could have achieved that same thing just by finding those edges a little better. Because in reality, those are the colors they are. The alligator is that color and the background is that color. So what do? And the problem is with this critique, with this public critique, with you guys participating, is there's a lag. And so by the time you guys have seen what I'm trying to show you, we've moved on to the next thing. So maybe I should do the illustration first. I don't know. I tell you what, let's do this. That's my critique of my alligator. I like the perspective. I like the composition. I like the way he's coming at me. I like the fact that there's no detail whatsoever in the background, but you know what kind of background it is. I like that the textures are just hinted at, and that you don't have to. It's very minimalistic on the textures and the brush strokes. I just wish that I had found the edges just a little cleaner. So that was the alligator. And then next we had a cicada. And I feel like this one was a whole lot better. everything that I disliked about this one really worked out on this one. Rick says, I really like it. Got nothing to help you get any better. Claudia doesn't like his back right leg. His back right leg is this one. Claudia said she didn't like she didn't get his right back leg. So he's crawling. He's got this leg tucked and he's got this leg stretched out, reaching for more, or vice versa. But yeah, I think finding the edges would have been a whole lot easier to understand what was going on there. I agree with you on that one, Claudia. That leg over here, either way, you've got an issue either way. See, I think this is tail, and I think that leg is just right there. His front leg is bent back, and his back leg is kind of scrunched forward. And then on this side, he's stretched out. So his front leg is forward, and his back leg is back. And on this side, they're back together. So I can see what I'm trying to do. I just feel like the execution just wasn't quite there. Anyway, so I think everything I didn't like about that I solved on this one. Nice crisp edges. Nice crisp edges. Found everything like I was supposed to. Hint at texture on the wing. Hint at texture on the body of the cicada. The background, you have no doubt that what the background is. It's a leafy background out of focus. You have no doubt that he's on a stick. There's no doubt. But I feel like I might have gone a bit too far with the outlines, because I took that fine liner brush and I made the outlines. It looks like a pen and ink drawing. It looks like the way I would have illustrated it on a page. Pamela on the alligator said, I like the perspective. I also like the perspective. The only critique I have is your drawings are so good, but then when you paint, you lose some of the detail that you had gets lost. I would like to see you slow down. And that is also a problem I have, a struggle I have, because I paint so quickly in the mornings. My practice is so quick in the mornings, and I'm so used to just having just a few minutes here and there to do it, that when I actually sit down to paint, I don't take my time. You're absolutely right. And when I do take my time, it's obvious I've taken my time. There's times when I feel like I get a whole lot of detail just right, going from this to this, and this is what I love. This is what I did to try to. This is what I did to get the experience and the practice and the feel for it, because I don't do this often enough. But this is what I love, and I think it's obvious when you look at the two of them. So we went from the alligator to this bug, this cicada, to a set of clouds. Now I did a set of clouds. The night that I did the clouds, we didn't stream. There was some kind of error in the system, and so I didn't get an illustration. I didn't do anything else. I just did some clouds. I've done many other sets of clouds. I just, that night I decided to practice some clouds, so I had some clouds there. But I don't have an illustration of this one because, like I said, we didn't stream that night for some reason. Honestly, I don't remember. I just know there's no video, there's no nothing for that night. I like the clouds. This is a good cloud study. I would like to have seen more. I would like to try this again with more detail, more patience. And another problem I have is they tell you to do thumbnail sketches. They tell you to do color theory, play with the colors, play with the shading, do some studies of it before you go to the real thing. And my problem is that once I've done a study, I I feel like I have already painted it and I don't need to move on. I don't need to do it again. I painted a cloud, now let's do something else. So I may want to paint the I may want to paint the cloud again, but it may be 6 months to a year before I decide to do it again, because it's just I've done it. Why do it again? I've done it.
You're talking really fast.
I'm excited.
I know.
I ran in here. You don't understand.
You're talking like you paint.
You know what I'm talking? I'm talking like a 5-year-old. Like, look at what I got. Look what I got. And this is another toy in my toy box. Look at what I got. All right, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to move these clouds aside. Then we had a drag.
No,
don't be.
I want to move you to Manning Assisted Living.
Don't
quit.
Don't be that way. Okay, so we had a dragonfly then, and like just like on the bug, on the cicada that I did earlier. This I feel like this one was well executed. I think this one would make a great T-shirt. I think this one would make a great print. You can see where I got a little sloppy. With the edges over here, but from the you're not supposed to look at art a foot away. You're supposed to look at art from 3 feet away, and from 3 feet away, this thing is beautiful. So yeah, there was a dragonfly here, and then you can compare that to the illustrative one. And I think both are fairly well executed. I don't know what I would do different than this one. This one probably could have used some more cool on the dragonfly, because the dragonfly is very warm and the background is very warm, and there's not a lot of contrast between the background and the foreground as far as temperature goes. If you're going to use a warm light, you use cool shadows. If you're going to use cool light, you use warm shadows. And I'm not sure I did that. I also didn't add any contrasting values to the body of the dragonfly, so I can see some things. What?
No, but I think that the dragonfly pops on this one a little bit.
I do.
With that background.
I do think the dragonfly pops. I think that I probably could have got away with adding a little bit of orange flecks into this green. I probably could have got away with making this more of a blue. I don't know. I like it though. I really do. I'm having a hard time critiquing it because I do like it. I can see where I got a little sloppy, and but I don't think that hurts it, because again, at 3 feet away, it looks good. And then on the illustrative version, again, you can tell this is the style I like better. It's clean. There's attention to detail. I put the contrasting colors in. So I like them both. I got a little sloppy. Sometimes my hand was wet, or I put my hand in the wet paint. I put my hand in the wet water. I have to be more careful of that. I got water on the ink over here. I have to be more mindful of that. But otherwise, I think I like this execution. I think this execution is a good job overall. Overall, a good job.
Emma says she thinks it's valuable to paint multiple types of whatever.
I think so too. I think it gives you. I think it gives you insight into if you only ever do one thing, how do you know whether or not you like anything else? And how do you learn something new to incorporate into your one thing? Yeah, Ivy's in the chat going upper left to lower right. Exactly. Start over here and come this way. But that's not what happened. What happened here is I dripped paint. And I had to sop it up, and then I put my hand in the wet paint. You're right. Start in the upper left and work your way down. And start in the opposite corner of your dominant hand and work your way back. That keeps you from putting your hand in your paint.
Claudia says your wet water. You've got to use dry ones now.
I have to use dry water. That might help. Then we went from the dragonfly to some Edelweiss. Edelweiss, Edelweiss. I'm not sure where the top of this is. I think this is the top. Little star-shaped flowers. This is one of those where I wish I'd have found the edges a little better, but I do like the playfulness of it. But like in here, I think I could have done a better job of finding the edges. That seems to be an ongoing theme is finding the edges. Ivy says, "Dang it! Now I want some dry water to paint with."
Rick's screaming at you.
What is Rick screaming about?
I don't know. I don't see anything.
What is Rick screaming about, Pamela? Dry water?
You've got Mia on vertical.
Hi, Mia. And so there's the illustrated Edelweiss. Ivy says she hasn't painted all week. You paint with watercolors, though.
Pam says, Isidale Edelweiss.
Oh, the song. Claudia says, turn right one time, I think. Oh, to find the top? Like it might be this way. Or turn right one time. I can tell you this is where my signature is, and it's upright. So, but on this one, I don't know. Again, I always go back to, I just like the illustration better. They're singing Edelweiss in the background. It's Christmas. There's Christmas music playing. You can always sing along with the Christmas music. And then there was a frog. This frog should go this way. This back leg threw me completely. Claudia likes the dark blue up higher. This back leg completely threw me. When I looked at this picture, I understood what was going on with the reference photo. But when I put it on paper, for some reason, I could not make it make sense. I knew what it was supposed to be, but right now it looks like he's got a shark fin sticking out of him. It just does not read like a back leg. I know what it was supposed to be, and I can see that it affected everything else I did, because everything I did was to try to distinguish the light and dark here. And if I lightened it here, then I had to darken it here, and if I darkened it here, then I had to darken it here. So I can see how this mistake moved into this to get the shading. because I was trying to get this shading to match this shading and leave this highlight with this highlight and these highlights. And in so doing, because I had to keep going darker here, I had to keep going darker here, and it seems to have just completely gotten out of hand over there. I do like the color scheme. I wish he'd been a red-eyed frog.
Pamela says because it lined up with the design.
Yes. Because the leg lined up. Is she talking about this, or is she talking about one of the previous drawings?
I think this one.
Claudia's talking about the blue on the first Edelweiss. She likes the blue on the top, right. This blue. So then I did this frog. And again, I think it's obvious which technique I like better. I think I already know which one I would put on a shirt. Some of these, the dragonfly and the cicada, I might put either one of those on a shirt. But this,
didn't we do that guy this morning?
We did one of these this morning. Yes, we did. Where is that? That's right here. You can tell I like doing frogs.
I just love him.
You can tell I like doing frogs. There's a lot of vermilion in this one, Pamela. But on this one, if I were going to critique this one, I tell you, it's difficult because I like the composition. I like the colors. There's a lot I like about this one. Kirby, Claudia. There's a lot of like about this one. I think I lost part of the leg here in the shading here on the back leg. I think I lost some of the shape of the nose. I probably should slow down and get better shape on the nose. But I really like this. Yeah. I brought that out just for Claudia because there's the vermilion. Let's see. We went Pamela. Pamela. I'm sorry. Did I say Claudia? Pamela. Because Claudia's going Kermie, and then we did a great white shark. Claudia says his right eye can be a bit bigger. This eye over here. I don't know, because that's kind of crazy. I like. You're probably right. You're probably right. Probably would have worked out better had I made that eye a little bit bigger, or this eye a little smaller. But to me, this is crazy eye. He's kind of has his head cocked a little to the side, but his nose doesn't reflect that, which is what I was saying a while ago. I probably could have spent more time getting his face right. But you're right. Those eyes could have been in better perspective with each other. And then we went to a great white shark. Now, I like these kinds of paintings. I like it like this. I like it with the lost edges because it's underwater. It gives you the feel that you're underwater. I just like these kinds of paintings. I feel like if I'm not careful, my daughter is going to steal this painting. I think the only reason that I still have it is she's unaware of it. But I like this one. If I were going to critique this one at all, I would say it's that I should have a few more lost edges through here. This should retreat into the background. It should still know what it is. It should still recognize what it is, but this should retreat into the background. The whole focus should be right here. Everything right here should be bright in focus, and this over here should be a lost edge, and this over here should be a lost edge. But I feel like overall it's a really good composition. I really like the color scheme, and I really like the play with the water drops and the sponge work that I did to remove the water drops. And then let's see. How are we doing on? Oh, it's only 7:30. I can slow down. Hello, my name's Bruce. This instance, I enjoyed doing this. I think this is cute as can be, but I like that one better. I had more fun doing this one. And again, this is the style that I love to do, but I actually like this one better. Pamela says, I think the only thing that should be more lost is the far fin. This one, or this one, or this one. You probably mean this one. Yeah, the shading got away from me too. This line should have been very well defined, because it went from a stark white to a very dull gray, and that line should have been very well defined. So I've got some found lines that should be more obvious, and I've got some lost lines that didn't get lost so well. But in this instance, I like this painting better than I like this illustration. And don't get me wrong, I like this illustration. I had fun doing it. I like the perspective. I like the view. I like the composition. I like a lot of stuff about it. I just feel like this one was better executed. That doesn't happen often. Usually it's the illustration that blows me away. Okay. Then we went from that to a snail. This one, you know, it kind of grows on you. Sorry, it's a mushroom joke. It kind of grows on you. I like the colors. I like the play. I feel like there's something about it that just doesn't quite work for me, and I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you can help me with it. There's just something there. Maybe it's because I went too dark through here, or too dark right here. Maybe this doesn't stand out enough from the background. I'm not sure.
I don't like the mushroom.
Okay.
I think it detracts from the snail.
You think the mushroom detracts from the snail? Like the mushroom should have been duller so the snail could be brighter.
Right.
Or it shouldn't have been a mushroom at all.
Right. In my non-autistic ability. Right. Claudia says something in the mushroom seems 2D.
Yeah. The mushroom doesn't quite build the shape. And the snail's not quite there either. But I do like the composition, and I do like the color scheme. But if I were going to do it again, I think I would focus more on adding depth, adding some contrasting values to make the things pop. Like this is a lot of ochre through here. This should have had some lavender in it.
Yeah, and I agree with Pamela. She thinks you should have more shadow under the snail.
Something on the mushroom. You can see there was shadow, but it got washed away. Something on the mushroom to show that the snail it's not just pasted on top of the mushroom. That the snail actually has. Yeah,
Adi says it's too green under the mushroom. The peach just a tad too much.
Right here. I get that too. But yeah, and again, this is a lot of ochre. It should have had more. It should have had some lavender in it. This is a lot of vermilion. It should have had some blue in it. The white dots don't really play off well, and the shadow of the snail is lost. But as far as kind of a psychedelic swirl of colors, it's a nice swirl of colors. It was a fun time painting it. Did I do an illustration? The next illustration in this book is not a snail. I'm sure that I did an illustration. Let's figure out where it was. I have to move my book away from the camera because this book has things that will get my channel demonetized. And will make my friends go, they gasp. I can't believe that you would draw such things. Yes, you can. Was it this one?
Emma says the backside of the cream should be darker, but she still really likes it. Claudia says stolen.
What's stolen? What are you stealing?
Either the one you're looking for or the one that...
Oh. Oh, and Ivy says she can believe some of the stuff that I've drawn. So yeah, there's the snail illustration that I did, and you can tell I love this. Yeah, I like the illustration snail. I wish the lines had been cleaner. I should have spent more time making the lines clean, because you can see where I doubled over them. I like when I do the lines with a single stroke of the fountain pen, not when I go back over them a couple of times, and you can see the double edged line. You can't see it, but I can, and I can see the stray lines. I think the line work could have been better. I could probably go over that with a brush. I could probably break out the brush pen and fix that. But I can also scan that in and have my software and use my software to clean it up so that I don't have to for a t-shirt or a coffee mug or stickers. Claudia wants stickers. Snails are in the family Helionyx because they have this Helios structure. When you talk about DNA having a double helix, that's what they're talking about, the double twist. Helicopters. Then we have an ibis. Is it an ibis or an ibis? I like the ibis. I think the composition is really nice on the ibis. I think the contrast in colors is really nice on the ibis. I think that's a lot of vermilion and crimson. I think that the background could have been executed a little better. I think there could have been a little more reflection of the bird in the water to illustrate that the bird is standing in water. Claudia said never too much vermilion. So I feel like there could have been more reflection on the water. I feel like the background could have been executed just a little better over here. Over here you can tell I probably got bored with it. Even more vermilion, Pamela. But I do like the pop of color. I absolutely love that pop of color. And then this was the illustration. And I fixed the reflection problem. I fixed the background problem. I've got him doing some kind of kung fu though. I feel like the lines could have been cleaner here. You can see I missed coloring a spot. But
I like this one better.
I like the illustration better than I like the that. But
Me too.
I like the pop of color on the painting. But on the illustration, I like the composition and the design work that went into the illustration better. This I could see this on a T-shirt. Of course, I could see this hanging on somebody's wall, but I feel like this would have to be cleaned up. Ivy says, "Oh no, you missed a spot. 20 lashes with a wet noodle. Just 20? What do I have to do to get more?" The night show is not a family show. This is a jellyfish. You can't tell that unless you know it's a jellyfish. If you know it's a jellyfish, you can find the jellyfish. And I don't like that you can't tell it's a jellyfish. Lots of the jellyfish got lost. I still like the pop of color. And if I had to do it all again, I think that I might, if I'm going to make the jellyfish dark, then I should make the background light. But if I'm going to make the background dark, then the jellyfish should have been brighter. This is too dark a red for that dark of a background. And lots of the features of the jellyfish are lost in the background. But I like the pop of color. I like the burst of flames in the jellyfish. But also, again, if you didn't know what it was, it would be difficult to figure that out. And then there's the illustration. And it's almost the same struggle with the illustration. It's hard to paint living balls of snot and make them look like living balls of snot. And because neither one of these, I feel like neither one of these were really successful, it makes me want to do it again. I don't feel like I've done a successful jellyfish yet. I can draw them, but once you start painting them, they start losing something. But I like them. It's hard, but it is difficult to draw balls of snot, living balls of snot, and make them look like they're living balls of snot and not, well, dead balls of snot. All right, and then we went to a baby bunny called a kit. Now I like this one. I do like this one. I think it's got just the right texture on the. Pamela says, I think the lift out technique might work better for jellyfish or snot. Probably so. I'm going to have to try that for jellyfish or snot. I'm going to have to try the lift out technique. But on our kit here, if I were going to criticize anything, I would say that the hairs are just a little too thick. I think the detail hairs kind of detract a little bit. They should have been longer, thinner, and smaller, so that they don't detract from the overall coloration and shading of the rabbit. Well, Claudia, it's a baby bunny though. It's called a kit, and it's a baby bunny, and they have tiny ears. But what might have made more sense is if the ears were the same size. This ear is supposed to be coming at you a little bit, and that ear is supposed to be more up, and I made it look more like the classic Playboy pose of ears. But if the ears had been the same size, if this ear had been the same size, it absolutely would have been the Playboy bunny ears. But it would have made more. It would have read more correctly. I think it would have read more correctly. But also, his head is turned almost perfect profile, because we can just see the one nostril, the one flat of his nose. That means this ear should have been further back in line with this ear, not further ahead. It's further ahead, like the rabbit's head was turned away from us a little bit. If the rabbit head is turned perfectly sideways, the ears should line up. If that rabbit was facing us even just a little bit, then this ear should have been just a little behind this one. But I put it in front, and that jars the composition. Your mind knows there's something wrong there. It's not just that there's small ears. Your mind knows that there's something wrong there. Your mind knows that it's twisted. And I think you're right, Pamela. I think the ears got a little dark. There's no highlight whatsoever on this ear. No discernible highlight whatsoever on this ear. And there should be. But this ear should be, from the position of this head, this ear should be, even if I had it coming at me, even if I managed to communicate that the ear was coming at me, it should have been more in line with this ear. If I had put it just a little behind this ear, I could have got away with it, because you can see just a little bit of the front of the nose, just a little bit of the far eyebrow. So I could have got away with moving the ear just a little bit behind the other ear, but not in front. It doesn't work in front. It's not a horrible composition, but the ears are what's throwing it off. Claudia pegged it right when she saw it. The ears are what's throwing it off. Not so much that they needed to be bigger, though, because it's a baby rabbit. On this one, I have the rabbit looking away from us. We're obviously looking. We can see the back side of his jowl. We can see the back side over here. So the ear should be a little bit forward, like it is. I like this one better. Claudia says it still looks cuddly. I think this one worked out a whole lot better. Pamela says, I have a picture of a baby in profile, and you're completely right about the ears, but it is an effective bunny. But I do like this one better. If I were going to critique this one, which is what we're here to do, I think the daisy could have been communicated a little better. It's not easy to tell that this is a baby rabbit. The ears probably could have been smaller on this one. But if you make the ears too small, then it quits looking like a rabbit and it starts looking like a hamster.
This looks like an older rabbit.
Exactly. It doesn't look like a baby. And the point of these two, they were supposed to be baby rabbits. They were supposed to be kids.
Yeah. This one has attitude.
Yeah. I might have added some. I probably should have added some contrast to the background. This is a nice lavender background. I probably could have come in there with some lemon yellow drops, like boba, because it looks like a lot of blank space. And I probably could have put some lemon yellow drops like boba, just to break up that space. But as far as the rabbit himself goes, if you just zoom in on the rabbit, I dig the rabbit. Very Watership Down.
Exactly.
And we have a lobster. Vermilion. So then we had a little lobster friend. I like this. I think this got away from me over here. I got a little sloppy with moving the paint around. I think I tried to make some last minute adjustments and got sloppy with it. Like Pamela said, I need to slow down, take my time. But I do like the bright pop, especially against that Payne's gray background. Ivy says she likes the plain background on the bunny. She said the plain background for the bunny works for her. Claudia says she loves the lobster. See, the rocks in the background didn't come through. I lost the rocky background. You can't have a rock lobster without rocks, right? But the coloration is, I think the coloration is good. And you can see by adding the purple and blue into the vermilion and scarlet and yellow, you can see how that made it pop out. It's hard to get the camera on there. The lighting is not all that. My lighting is not designed for this. I'm going to have to get a different light for this if I'm going to continue to do stuff like this. But it's difficult for you to see how it pops because of the contrasting colors. It's the contrasting colors that make it pop out. If you don't have that, you just have a big blob of orange out there. It doesn't make any sense. Ivy says it's the lavender reflected on the shoulder that she likes. Are you still talking about the rabbit or the lobster? Oh, you're still talking about the rabbit. Pamela says, I have to admit the lobster didn't translate for me, but then I'm not really familiar with them. But she loves the color. And then there's the illustrative version of it. And if I were going to critique the illustrative version of it, when you draw something head on, it loses the things about it that make it what it is. So like if you draw a butterfly and you draw a butterfly head on, all you see is a stick. How do I illustrate that? How do I show that better? If you draw okay. If you draw a butterfly head on, all you see is a stick. It doesn't look like a butterfly. You have to turn the butterfly a little bit one way or the other to see the patterns on the wings to give you the sensation that it's a butterfly. If you draw a lobster head on, you could just be drawing a bug with claws. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lobster at this point. So I should have either altered the position of the lobster, or I should have paid more attention to the detail within here that would have given you all of the features that are lost. So between the two of them, I had more fun doing this one, but I like that one. You like that plug? That was a nice plug, wasn't it, Ivy? That was a nice plug. That's smooth. That's smooth. We call that product placement in the business. Okay, and then we had a monarch butterfly. There's some good color here, but either it shouldn't have had as much detail as it had, or it should have had a whole lot more detail. Pamela says this book is available on Amazon. Pamela says this book is available on Amazon. This is a coloring book where I take my daily drawings and I put them into real life situations. So this is my coloring book that I made, and it's available on Amazon. Just look for The Artistic Biker. Look for Jonathan Manning. Look for random objects from the Random Object Randomographer. It's not hard to find. There's a link in the description of this video if you'd like to purchase one. Anyway, this monarch butterfly. The blue could have been brighter for the body. I feel like it either needed more detail or I should not have put as much detail in it as I did, because it's right there on that edge of should have been one or the other. Ivy's going to color in my coloring book tomorrow, and she's going to do it using her coloring swatches instruction manual, so she can show how to use the color swatching color manual to practice. And she'll do that from noon to 4. Is it noon to 4 Central, 1 to 5 your time? And then here's the illustrated version. Yeah. Like I said, it should have either had more detail or it should have had less detail. It's right on that edge where it should have gone one way or the other. I agree. The background's a bit distracting.
Right. It's kind of the same busyness as the butterfly.
Yeah. Background's just a little distracting. And then you throw in the illustration. And I feel like the illustration worked better. I still had some struggle with double lines. I feel like the inking could have been cleaner. But I can clean that up. I can still clean that up. I could take an ink brush to it and clean that up.
Oh, see, I love this one.
Yeah, my critique of this one is that the lines are not bold enough, and I lost his blue. I lost his blue in his body right there. It's completely lost. I don't do black. I try to mix up an extremely dark lavender and then save black for the very darkest spots. And I don't do white. I do like an eggshell, and then save the white for the very brightest reflections and stuff, so that you can get that contrast. What are you laughing at?
Claudia wants to know if she can have a toilet break, or shall she take us with her?
Can I have a toilet break, or shall I take you all with me? You know what? It's time for a toilet break anyway. Let's take a little break. This was where we were going to stop anyway. Let's take a little break. Go make some room for some more coffee and get you another drink, and we'll be right back. When we come back, we'll do what's on your easel. Uh-oh. What day is it? Who can tell me what day it is?
I wish you could see her face.
What day is it? Mom. What day is it? What day is it? Come on, I know you can hear me. Don't pretend you can't hear me. Mom. What day is it? Mom. Missy.
Don't say I love you.
What day is it? Missy. What day is it? Come on, Missy. Come on. What day is it? What day is it? Little girl. What day? Come on, tell me, what day is it? Thursday! Woohoo! Thursday! Woohoo! We'll make you happier than a Norse god on Thursday. All right. That took too much. That scared me. That took too much energy. Okay, so we'll start with Rick's frog from this morning. Rick and Pamela join me every morning when they can. They join me every morning while I do the artistic biker, and I showed you earlier this one, uh, this little frog that I did this morning. That's the one. That's what I did this morning, and Rick sent this in, where he is watercoloring along with me. He is watercoloring along with me. So good job, Rick. Rick doesn't watercolor. What makes that special is this is like Rick's fourth watercolor in his life. He doesn't do that. He's branching out. So good job, Rick. And then Ivy sends in a great silent stone coloring sheet. Colored pencils. There's no text. There's no context, so I can't tell you anything about it. Like what coloring book it's out of. But it's a nice little abstract. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I think it's coloring book with the some Lord Mystic in the title. I think.
Well, Ivy's watching. Maybe she'll shout out the title of the coloring book. Claudia says she just saw this on her channel.
Yeah, the Mystical Lands of Ucana.
The Mystical Lands of Ucana by Karen E. Myers. Okay, and then Ivy sent. This is Ivy's temporary studio. She moved in someplace where there's air conditioning. I bet it gets hot out there in the camper. Where she got a little room there, playing video games, doing her art on the table there. She's got a little setup like I do, just right in front of the monitor, where she can art or play games or watch videos. And then Pamela is working on the portrait of her mother. There's Pamela's mother, and there's the portrait of Pamela's mother. And Pamela does this. She works on this off and on. I'm leaning in so you can see under the camera better, knowing full well that it's broadcasting from my phone to the computer, and moving under the camera doesn't help. But she works on this off and on, and adds a little more detail every time she does so. I think she's got the pose down and the smile down. The color in the cheeks is coming along. It looks really nice, Pamela. I think the chin. I think the chin could be just a little bit longer. And there's a part in her hair just above the left side, the eye on the left side. Just little details. I think you're coming along really nice. You're really getting there. You've got the overall shape of the features down. And every time we come back to it, Pamela, it's just a little bit more detail and a little bit more color, and it looks really nice. And then these are called firecrackers, 4x4 posts painted on the 4th, but I decided to make mine different. So they are American Indian styled. I carved an arrowhead stamp because I wanted to put arrowheads on the red one in particular. There may be a few sprinkled on the others. They are decorated with leather and paint. Those are beautiful. There she's carving out an arrowhead, adding some detailed texture to the arrowhead. And then that is what the stamp looks like. Bob Ross. I don't think Bob Ross did that. And then this is Pamela's daughter's crochet and Pamela's succulents. This is the cow that I said, look at that cow. Look how cute that guy is. A little crochet cow. And then here's that frog. I said, look at that frog. That's frog with a PH. Frog. And then here's some succulents. That's your 30-day challenge right now, isn't it? Succulents. She does a different challenge every month. I'm actually tilting the phone so that you can get a better view of it under the camera, knowing full well that you can't see the phone from the camera. All right. I don't think I have anything on my easel. I haven't done anything above and beyond that I haven't already shown you guys. So that was what was on my easel. That was what was on your easel. If you'd like to be a part of what's on your easel, simply send an email to blade@artisticbiker.com with easel in the subject line, and we will use your works to inspire other people, because that's what this is all about, is getting people inspired to be creative, to express their creativity. See my little girl sneaking up behind me back there? Hi, little girl. You're already exposed. What do you need? No, thank you. You cannot have my frog.
Is it a frog?
That's a frog. This is a butterfly. What was the one we said a while ago I shouldn't show her? The one I said I probably only have it. The one I said I probably only have it because she's not aware of its existence. Out of sight, out of mind.
No, you told me to wait until.
That's why. And then I hid it from you. Waiting patiently. Okay. I got my eye on you, sis.
Friends, have you ever wanted to be able to draw or paint better? Have you ever thought, I wish I could draw a cat? Well, friends, think no more, for I have just the product you're looking for. That's right, friends. This magic product secret that I've given you for free today is all you will ever need to be the next Andy Warhol or Pablo Picasso or even Leonardo da Vinci. All you need to be a great artist is just a little bit of practice. Why, friend, if you just use practice for a few minutes every day, there's no limit to the things you might accomplish. With just 10 minutes of practice, your cat can go from looking like this to this. And friends, If you have tried, practiced, and witnessed its power firsthand, please consider going to theartisticbiker.com and clicking that donate button. Every penny you donate will go to help someone less fortunate learn about the power of practice. And keep remembering to tune to the Artistic Biker Live every Thursday night from 6 to 8 Central Time at artisticbiker.com/Ustream. That's the letter U, stream.
But guys, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. So let's just turn back over to the overhead camera. Oh, that's a subtle hint camera. That's not the overhead camera. Hang on. There we go. That was the overhead camera. All right, so that was Monarch. Ooh, and then we had Nightshades. Some purple nightshades. Ivy painted a hen tonight. So I think this captured the color of the nightshades. I don't think it captured the lightness of the texture of the nightshades, and I don't think it captured the boldness of the stems. Everything looks ethereal. Everything bold looks ethereal, and everything that should be ethereal looks like tissue paper. Good night, Claudia. Thanks for staying up as late as you did. What? Ivy said I'd have painted a rooster, but there's way too many jokes inherent in that one, right? Oh, I go straight to those jokes every time I paint one. That's a good-looking rooster. Everyone likes a big rooster. Anyway, I feel like this is a dark mess right here. I feel like I was trying to put it in the background, and it's just kind of a dark mess back there. And then this just doesn't have the ethereal effect that I was going for. This looks wispy, and this should look sturdy and strong and thick, and it looks wispy. This looks like, I don't know, a cloud, but not a puffy cloud. I like the colors. I like the composition. I'd like to try it again, but not anytime soon. Let's see if I can find where I did it in the sketchbook. Again, I have to pull the sketchbook away because there are some inherent rooster jokes in my sketchbook also. So there's the nightshade that I did in the sketchbook. And honestly, I'm not sure I like it much better. And maybe it's the subject. I don't know. I'd like to try it again. I feel like the colors kind of got away from me. There's not enough pop to it. It doesn't. Neither one of them really shoot off the page to me. Neither one of them really look like they're. Neither one of them look T-shirt worthy. This right here down is not horrible. This should have been like this.
They don't talk to me.
No, neither one of them talked to me.
No.
But neither one of them would end up on a T-shirt. But this down here is better than this up here. Ivy says her mother has a 6-foot rooster. That's a big rooster, Ivy. I bet she's proud. I bet she's proud of having a big rooster like that. I bet she shows it off all around town.
Yeah.
PG-13. This show, maybe it's NC-17, but it's somewhere in there. All right, so we have an octopus. And then we have an octopus. I'm not happy with this one at all. There's a lot of vermilion going on here. I'm not happy with this one at all. I wasn't happy the night I did it. I feel like the whole composition is okay. I feel like the color composition is just too monotone. If you squint at it, there's no highlights and shadows. It's all the same. It's all the same tone, and I don't like that. The shadows should be darker. The highlights should be brighter. There should be more contrast between the foreground and the background. There should be more contrast between the light and the dark. There should be more contrast in the coloration. And if I did it again, there'd be a whole lot more splash of color on this all over the place. This, for instance, would probably be yellow through here. And it would blend into the red and it would end up scarlet on the bottom. And then this would be stark white. Or it would read stark white. And I may have to do this again just to satisfy that. Just to satisfy that need. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Ivy. Ivy says it needs to be more dramatic. There's not enough teenage angst. You wouldn't look at that and believe that it would swim out in the ocean and touch a boat. Oh, you made me ink. Now I have to figure out where the illustration is. I may have switched books at this point. Dun, 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 dun. You think I would have had all this already prepared. It's not like I didn't have a 10-minute break to switch books. There it is. See, even in my illustrated version, this got busy. The colors didn't blend the way I wanted them to. I like this composition. I like this shape. I like the placement. I like everything. I like everything like that. I like the color choices. I just didn't spend enough time to let the colors blend properly. And the shading and the contrast are still not there. And this got busy. This is too busy for everything else. So this is another one where neither one of these would make it to a t-shirt. But this, you're right, this one has personality. This would be the one I'd choose to improve upon. If I were going to make a t-shirt, this is the one I would go with to improve upon. But I still want to try this one again. I want to spend some time doing this again. But and Pamela says, I named this one Professor Squid. That's a good name for him. But we'll try this again sometime in the future. It'll take me a while to come back around to it because, like I said, once I paint something, I feel like I've already done it. There's no point to go back to do it again. That's from what movie? Where Ivy said, what movie is that from? That's from Finding Nemo. Don't you touch that butt! Because he says butt instead of boat. You guys made me ink. And then we have, after the octopus, then we have Pamela's bug, which was a robber's fly. Pamela sent me this picture of this bug. I don't know, how long did I hold on to it? 3 years? 2 years? It's forever. It was a long time. I like this. I like the composition. I like the colors. I like the highlights. I like the darks. I like practically everything about this. If you look into the ochre, you will see splashes of lavender and purple and blue. If you look into the vermilion, you will see blue flecks where the shadows are. If you look into the green, you will see red around the edges. All the contrast is where it's supposed to be. All the shadows are where it's supposed to be. The edges are not overbearing with line work. I like this one. This one could easily end up on a t-shirt. I really, really, really like that one. And I like it better than I like the illustration. The illustration looks like he's late for math class. This looks like somebody that's going to take off and steal your lunch money. This looks like somebody that is late for math class. I like this one a whole lot better. The composition on this one is nice, but it goes back to that thing where the thing that makes it the bug that it is missing, because we're looking at it from a viewpoint that doesn't show what it's missing. The second one would make a great cartoon. Yes, 3. I don't know what we're saying. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know how far back in the lag they're laughing at. But this one, the second one didn't have the drama. This bug does not have the drama. I do like the eyes. You're right. Ivy likes the eyes. I do like the eyes. And I like the coloration. And I like the color scheme. I just don't like the composition. And it goes back to what I was saying a while ago. If you draw it from this angle, it loses the things that make it what it is in 2 dimensions. It's like if you draw a ballerina with her leg sticking out behind her from head on, she just looks like a one-legged ballerina. You have to turn her a little bit so that you can see the back legs, so that you can see she's not just a one-legged ballerina. Especially if she's leaning forward, then she just looks like the head on top of a leg, and it loses all of the effect. That's what's going on here. The head is blocking out all of the rest of the body of the bug, and you lose all of the bug information. But I really like this one. So this was Pamela's bug. This is a Queen's angelfish. This is a Queen's angelfish. And it's so named because it has this little crown on the top of the head that didn't really communicate. I didn't do a very good job communicating that crown. And I feel like the shape of the body was lost in the composition. I love the colors. I'm not a fan of the composition, and the drawing could have been better. Thank you, Char of Hearts. Beautiful fish. Char of Hearts is over there chatting away. Yes, it's watercolor. I'm sorry. I completely missed that you were chatting over there. Wanted to come say howdy. What's that?
Me too. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. We've been missing you over there, Char of Hearts. Wanted to come say howdy. Watercolor. Yes, it's all watercolor. The illustration is not as good. You're right. Might look like a strange alien fly, the illustration. Good point. Thank you. Beautiful fish. Didn't know angelfish could be. Yes, this angelfish is a queen angelfish. Again, I like the color. I'm not a fan of this composition. And it's my composition. So it has lost its angelfish shape. And the illustration, at least you got the crown thing back a little bit, but I lost some of the highlights in the crown thing. Again, the color's good, but from this angle, you can't tell that's an angelfish.
Char's a friend of Ivy's.
Oh yeah, I know Char. I recognize her. She's been to the show before. I didn't see her chatting away over there on the
No.
vertical side. So once again, this could be a salmon with clown paint on. The composition is lost because the things that you would identify as an angelfish are missing because you're looking at it from the wrong angle to identify it as an angelfish. I still like the colors. I like the blue background. I like the yellow. I like the contrast. I like the lights and darks. I think the crown could have been better executed, but I think it's all lost on both of them. I think it's all lost on the angle of the fish. I didn't want to just do a profile of the fish, but you almost have to do a profile of fish to capture all of the things that make it an angelfish. So maybe I should have done two fish. I could have done two different fish from two different angles in the same picture, and that might have made it. That might have satisfied the issue I was having. I still like the colors though. I think the colors worked well on both of them, but neither one of them really satisfied my angelfish. My desire to do a queen's angelfish. Char says, very interesting point. Never thought about why some artists draw more than one view when they draw the head-on facing. Normally they add another angle if they do the head-on, and that's exactly why, Charles, because from the head-on angle, you really don't have enough information to identify it in 2 dimensions. If you didn't have the information of it coming into the scene and the information of it leaving the scene, so that your brain filled out all of the missing points, you don't have any missing information. When you look at something, the way your brain works, when you look at something, you only see the one spot that's in focus, and your brain fills in all the other information from when you looked at that area before. So at one point you looked at this eye, at another point you looked over here at this tail, and another point you looked here at this fin, and if you didn't, you just did. And so now when you focus on this part of the fin, your brain is filling in the information here. Now take that to a crime scene and you look at something here, and things in the background will show up that your brain will interpret as something else. And that's why 15 people can witness the same crime scene and see completely different facts. All 15 people can be looking from the same exact angle and come away with completely different information. It's because you're not really seeing this. You were looking at this, you're not really seeing this. Your brain is filling in what it saw before. So when you see the ballerina come out across the stage, your brain fills in all the information that it's a ballerina with 2 legs and she's moving in space and she's tucked that one leg behind her, so she's not a one-legged ballerina. But if all you ever saw was bloop, and you don't know anything else about it, you don't know that ballerina has another leg. Your brain doesn't have that information to fill in, and so it always looks off to you. Same thing's going on here. It's in a painting. If you don't have something to give you the brain the rest of the information, your brain doesn't know how to interpret it. That's science. I love to talk about that kind of stuff. We normally talk about that kind of stuff on the morning show, though. The morning show is more biology and science and history. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Somebody put rum in my coffee. Okay, this is a roly-poly. It's an isopod. This one's actually not a roly-poly. This one's actually a deep-sea isopod. But doesn't he just look mean?
I like your T-Rex.
I do too. I like the contrast. I feel like the overall part through here might be just a little dark. It might just be. I might have just been a little heavy with the shading, especially right through here, to get the contrast I was going for. I probably could have achieved the same thing with a nice purple, but instead I went with a green. I added green to my Payne's gray I probably could have got a better shade with purple like I did here. See how that purple and that ochre and that yellow gives it pops it off the page, especially right next to that highlight. Okay, Shar. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the nice comments. So then we go to the illustration, which I like a whole lot better. I think the illustration, that's ready for a coffee mug. That's ready for a t-shirt. I have, let me see if I have it. I thought it was right here handy. A roly-poly that I did a while ago. I thought that book was right here handy, because I did think it might come up tonight. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I've misplaced it. Oh well, I've got a red one. Here, maybe I can find it on my phone. Let's see if I put it in my portfolio folder. I may have put it in my portfolio folder. It doesn't look like I put it in my portfolio folder. Oh well. The red one is balled up, and I thought it would look good on a coffee mug with the phrasing "not before coffee." And then you put this one on the inside of the coffee mug. That's better. Pamela says they've been inundated with roly-polies. It is that time of year. But I like this one better than I like this one. I like this one for different reasons. But I still think this one's much better. I like the line work. I like the color. I like the composition. I like the simplicity. I don't feel like the dark is overworked. And then we move on to a sea turtle. We're getting close to the end. I think this one worked out well. Is this from my coloring book? Did I do this one? I don't think my coloring book pages are numbered. Yes. This is from my coloring book. So I took that from my coloring book and I traced it onto some watercolor paper, and then I watercolored it. I used some water-soluble carbon paper and transferred the drawing to my turtle, or to my watercolor paper. So there it is in the coloring book, and there it is on there's this coloring book, by the way, the Random Objects from the Random Object Randomographer Volume 1, available on Amazon. There's a link in the description below. I like this. I like the composition. I like the colors. I like the lost edge. But what didn't happen was you can see the lines from the tracing. Those lines should have been washed away, and I didn't take the time to make sure that those lines were washed away. I pushed too hard when I was tracing them, and so they became a permanent part of the art. It's not bad, but I feel like it detracts from the artistry. It looks more illustrative, and what I was looking for, not artistry, painterly. I was looking for a painterly effect, and from 3 feet away, it's fine. You're not supposed to look at. You're not supposed to look at. Oh, Pamela, are you asking about the coloring book? Is that the first one in a series? Do you know I have 400 drawings? I have 466 drawings as of today. I have 466 drawings that can be turned into a coloring book. And you only put about 40 to 50 of them in a coloring book. So, yeah, this is just volume 1. I thought that maybe I could put one out every other month. You don't have to buy the coloring books, though. I'm going to take a break here to tell you about this because I want everybody to understand. I want everybody to understand. I give these coloring sheets away for free on my Substack. If you subscribe to my Substack, go to substack.com and look for my name, Jonathan Manning. You find, or I don't know if I'm Jonathan Manning or the Artistic Biker. I'm not real sure. I'll get back with you on that one. But find me on Substack. I give the coloring sheets away for free. I don't charge for the coloring sheets. The coloring sheets are just a fun thing that I like to do, but I sell the collection. So if you want to buy the collection, if you want to buy the whole coloring book, they make great gifts. Christmas is coming up. Order 10 or 20 of them so that you can give them away free. Give them away at Christmas time. But if you join my Substack, they're free there, or you can go to my Ko-fi site. And my Ko-fi site, you can buy digital prints of them, and then you can download and print them as many times as you want or need to. So if you have a classroom, if you have a library thing that you're doing, and you need some coloring sheets to keep some kids quiet, hey, go to my Ko-fi page, go to my Substack, download them, print all you want to. Feel free. I give those away for free. That's my gift to the community. So, but also, I publish them in a coloring book so you can give them out as gifts. And I have 466 drawings that I can turn into coloring pages. So that is what's going on there. Overhead close. All right, so I like this composition. I like the color scheme. I like everything about this. If the only thing I have to complain about is the tracing lines didn't get washed away, and I feel like the tracing lines detract from it just a little bit. But you can buy the coloring books with the links on the pages that you peeps keep watch along. Yes, the coloring books are in the link below on the description of this video. There's a link for the coloring book on the Amazon page. And then at the bottom of every coloring sheet is a link back to the video where I drew it and I talked about it. Not the live form, but a 5-minute time lapse. So if you want to share that with somebody, if you want to see how it was drawn, you can go back and watch how it was drawn. And then here is the illustrated turtle. Turned out a little darker. Usually watercolor dries lighter, and I was counting on that, but it turned out a little darker than I wanted it to. There's some stuff going on here with the nose where I lost track of the nose. Ivy got a picture of me pointing to my book and a copy of the book on her desk. That's awesome. That's awesome. So the painterly version. I haven't heard from my mom in a while. Are you still there, Mom? Mother?
What?
Just making sure you're still there.
Yes. I'm studying this one. It doesn't do much for me.
The turtle?
Yeah.
The illustrated one or the painterly one?
The illustrated one.
No, the illustrated one doesn't either because I think the color composition is too dark. Look at this picture from Ivy. There's my book on her desk. There's me pointing at my book on her television screen.
That's cool.
That is cool. But I like like the composition. I like the expression on his face. I like the swimming style. I think there's enough information there to tell it's a turtle. I just think the darks got away from me on this one. I like this painting better. And I'm noticing a trend on most of the oceanic stuff. The watercolor turned out better than the illustration. Except for the octopus. I didn't like either one of the octopus. Pamela says she gave my mustache an upgrade on her coloring book. You'll have to send me pictures of it. If you guys color in or on the coloring book, I would love to see pictures of it. And then we have tea bags. This was a tea bag. I'm not sure. Probably Earl Grey, or it might have been peach. I think I like this. I like this painting. I like the humor in this painting. I like the composition. I like the color. I think I went a little too obvious with the torso. If the torso had been just a little bit more subtle, it would play off. The joke would play off better. But I do like this painting. I think the contrasts are just right. It is a tea bag, Pamela. See, it says it right there. Tea. But then we actually did a tea bag. And between the two of them, I think this one looks more like tea. I had fun with this, though. I like the composition of this. I probably should have spent more time making that look like a tea bag. We know it's a tea bag. Our brains are prepared for it to be a tea bag, so our brain interprets it as a tea bag. It's got all the necessary accoutrements to be a tea bag. The line work is not clean though, and this is missing things like the staple. This is missing things like the folds in the paper are not shaded properly. If that's a saucer for a teacup, that is a really big tea bag. So there's some things going on here that I'm not too terribly happy with. But I think I could redo this and clean this up and make a nice T-shirt out of this one. Make a nice postcard or something out of this one. I just need to shrink that up a little bit and add some detail around here to make it more teabag-like. This one, I'm going to do this again someday. I'm going to reproduce this. I'm going to make the torso more subtle so that it's not quite as obvious what I'm going for. But you can put lipstick on a pig too, but that don't make it no Marilyn Monroe. I don't know. I've seen some pretty cute pigs. I grew up on a farm. It's a PG-13 show. So that's the tea bag. And then we had a bear. We had a bear inspired by Ursa Major and a Ulysses butterfly on its nose. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
I like this. I think
I love this one.
I think this one worked out really well. Look how subtle the trees are in the background. Look at if I did anything different, I would make the black on the Ulysses butterfly not as dramatic. I think it detracts from the bear. I think it overpowers the bear. But I do love this composition, and I like the color scheme. I would make that blue a brighter blue, and make that black not so black. This right here and right here should be the darkest things on the page. Nothing should compete with the bottom wet of that nose and the bottom wet of that eyelid. Nothing should compete with that. And this is competing with that too much. It's too much black over here. So what I'm saying is that I used too much black. I should have used more purple or something instead of black. I should have used something more subtle here so that this black will really stand out.
But I think it reflects.
But otherwise, I really like this. Everything about that says bear with a butterfly on his nose. Pamela says, I think you just need a little more highlight in the eye. Maybe.
Abby said that they have to bear.
Yeah.
He looks like he's furious bear.
See, to me, he looks like his eyes closed, like he's smiling, or he's gonna sneeze. He doesn't look like he's looking at the butterfly. He just looks like he's got squinky eyes.
Oh, I think he's looking at the butterfly.
No, I think this one's looking at the butterfly.
Let me see. In the leg.
On my leg, it's still showing the tea bag.
Squinky eyes. Yeah, no. Oh, boy. I like them both.
Pamela says that would adjust the composition. If I put a highlight in the eye, would adjust the composition. I really like this one. This is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. See how this is not, the black is not overpowering on the butterfly. That makes the black on the bottom of his nose, the bottom of his ear, really just the darkest points on the image. You can tell that this is black around the edge, but it doesn't detract from the nostrils and the shading under the eye. And Pamela says this one seems to have the eyes closed. Maybe I should put a white dot on this one. I can do that right now.
Well, I think his eyes are half closed because he's looking down
He's looking at his nose.
Yeah. I like this. I like them both.
I do. I like them both. Either one would make a nice t-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either one would make a nice poster in your room. And then we went for vintage bottles. Now, I have never painted vintage glass before. This was my first attempt at vintage glass. And painting the bottles through the bottles with the distortion of the bottles was a challenge. Lettering is always a challenge because I never do lettering. I should practice lettering. I never do lettering. Lettering is a challenge. But overall, I think this turned out okay. I don't think the shadows read very well because I was trying to impress that the light was still passing through the bottle. So the glass is casting a shadow by changing the color of the light, and then the actual shadows are where the lettering is on the bottle. But it shouldn't be. It's not. To me, it doesn't read right. It doesn't make me feel like the light is over here coming this way. It doesn't make me feel like this is a shadow. Because the way this is done, it looks like the light's behind it, not to the side of it. This shadow should be of this jar. This shadow should be of this jar. And this shadow is of this jar, but this shadow looks like it comes from this jar. Just the way it's shaped and the way it's done. This is a green shadow. It should have been a blue shadow. There's just I see some minor things here that could have gone a long way to fix this. Some work on the ellipses can go a long ways to fix this. But overall, I don't think it's a horrible job. If I were illustrating a storybook, you would know what it was. You'd be able to recognize what it was. Pamela says she thinks the shadows read correctly, except that the shadows don't seem to cast the same direction. And that's what I mean. This shadow looks like it's coming from this bottle, and this shadow looks like it's coming from this bottle, when they should be coming this way. This light should be coming from over here. Because if it's coming from any other way, then you should see shadows of these bottles over here, and you don't. And if this is the shadow of this bottle, this should be blue, not green. If this is the shadow of this bottle, this shadow is probably right. It's this shadow throwing it off. And then the shading underneath the lettering kind of throws it off a little bit too. The lettering should have just been a grayer green or a darker green, not Payne's gray. But overall, I think it turned out okay. Like I said, if this were illustrating a book, you'd know what it was. Ivy says she thinks it's awesome for a first attempt. Thank you so much. And then I did this one, which nobody under 40 has any idea what that's about. The light side of the bottle should have a sparkle. Exactly. And you can't really see it in my lighting. I tried to do that, but it didn't really play out. I used a wax resist, and it worked a little bit, but it didn't work as well as it should have. So for the next one I'm ready, I've got some Frisket. I didn't have Frisket before, but now I've got some Frisket. So the next time I try to do something like that, I'll have Frisket. I'll make sure that happens. But like I said, nobody under 40 will even catch this reference. Can you hear me over the Christmas music?
I can't even hear the Christmas music.
You can't hear the Christmas music? Can anybody else hear the Christmas music?
I haven't heard it since a break.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we've been listening to you.
Well, but okay, here's the vintage bottle. So we went from the vintage bottles to water drops. I love this. I think everything about this worked out very well. I was very happy with this one, very pleased with this one. The edges are clean. The edges are distinct. The background I don't feel like the background got away from me. You can tell the background's got more leaves in the background. You can see the bokeh effect of the water in the background. You can see the shadows of the water drops. You can see the highlights of the water drops. I think this one. Pamela says, I recognize it, and I'm under 40,000. But I like the way this one turned out. I think that worked out very well. I think this would look good on a poster, on a wall, or on a T-shirt.
Looks like you can touch the leaves.
It does kind of in places look like you could just reach down and pick it up. I probably should have been more consistent with the shading in the folds of the leaves. Like this leaf is curled over. I probably should have been more consistent in the shading. I probably could have spent some more time with the edges, on the burnt edges, the sunburnt edges, and part of the stick lost its luster right through here. Because remember, the stick is shiny too. The stick has a waxy coating to it too, so it should have had a little more luster in there. But otherwise, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I could have gone to the smaller brush sooner and taken care of some of these edges. Some of these edges have some gaps, and you fix that with the smaller brushes, and I just didn't go to the smaller brushes. But overall, I'm wildly pleased with this one.
Ivy says this one really works.
Thank you. Now I have to figure out where the illustrated version is. Ivy, you guys are the ones that inspired me to do this one, because was a Hawaiian Billy that was doing spheres. And the way you shade spheres and the way you shade bubbles and water drops are different, and I wanted to talk about that. I was inspired to do that. Pamela says her water drops were not nearly as successful. I think this is what we did. These water drops first. These were my practice water drops because I had to remember how to do water drops before I could do these water drops. So I didn't really do an illustrated version of water drops. I just did a water drop study. And so I had to do these first so that I could remember what water drops do before I could do these so that they would read as water drops. So yeah, Ivy did a lesson on spheres, and Hawaiian Hillbilly. The light just went on for him, and he took off with it and did a fantastic job. And I was watching his stuff, and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't done. It inspired me to want to come back and do water drops. But yeah, my critique is that I lost the waxy texture of that stem, and I should have broken out the small brushes again. Art's meant to be viewed at 3 feet. It's not meant to be viewed close up. If you get up in there close up, you can see that the background doesn't come all the way up to the leaf. But from 3 feet away, you can't really tell. It's not all that obvious. Ooh, and then we did a sloth. Sloths are members of the Xanarthra family, which means they have an extra bend in their spine. Them, armadillos, and aardvarks or anteaters, whichever one's in South America, I think it's anteaters, are all descendants from the same animal, share a common ancestor. And they're the only 3 representatives of the Xanarthra family. So that's the sloth. This particular sloth was a gift from Jamie Lynn several years ago. I had mentioned that the sloth was my spirit animal. Several years ago, I had mentioned that a sloth was my spirit animal, and Jamie Lynn sent this sloth to me as a gift. I actually think she brought it by the house, and she gave it to me so that I could have my spirit animal with me. And so that was the sloth that I used as a reference for the one in my painting. I think the darks got away from me. I like the contrast. I think he's probably a little too orange, and it makes him. It kind of blends in with the wood grain in the background. He probably could have been a little more umber than vermilion, but I like the vermilion, so it's okay. But I do think the darks got away from me. But overall, I'm pleased with it. It wouldn't go on a shirt. It was good practice. But a lot of the details are lost. The fur texture is lost because of how heavy-handed I went with the darks on the shading. But composition-wise, he's not too far off from the model. And then we had the illustrated version. And I had more fun with this. And I think I resolved the issue with the darks But again, I've got that composition issue where I'm looking at him from an angle where if you don't know he's a sloth, there's some things going on there that don't make sense. So that was that. I do like the background though. I think the background probably should have been, I love this green though, but it should have been more subtle. That would have made him pop off the page, and I wouldn't have felt like he needed so much dark on him. Then we had the ball of yarn. I did want to make sure that the ball of yarn was not round. I think this turned out well. I like the ball of yarn. I think it looks playful. I should have spent some more time getting the edges, because this being flat across here, for instance, loses the effect of the yarn being wrapped around there. So instead of having a flat edge, it should have had bumps where the yarn goes around the edges. But otherwise, I think it turned out fairly well. I got carried away here with the highlights, but it has some lost edges. It has some found edges. My daughter just came in and snuck in and gave me a kiss on the back of my head. Oh, that's my wife. That's not my daughter. I'm so used to Mo coming out here and doing that. I didn't think about you doing it. Come here. Come. Oh, you're on. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look what I found. Thank you. Anyway, I like the way the yarn came out. It's playful. If I were going to do it again, I would make a point to, one, I would make the yellow brighter, and I would make sure that the edges pop off like they're supposed to, so that it doesn't look like half flat edges. Have I ever done the fuzzy chicken paint techniques? You know, Pamela, does this have anything to do with Ivy's mother's big rooster? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find my yarn in the sketchbook. Oh yeah. There's the illustrative yarn. And the same thing happened here. I think the edges should have been bumpier, and I think the colors should have been lighter. But overall, I like the way this thing turned out. It looks playful. It looks fun. Pamela says, no, it doesn't have anything to do with Ivy's mother's chicken rooster. That's probably a good thing. Can you tell us about the fuzzy chicken painting technique? I'll just sit here and drink my rum and coffee while I wait. And then I did a lemur. Every morning it gets down to the 50s in Madagascar at night, and every morning the lemurs all go to the sun and find a branch or a log or a rock or something to sit on, and they all face the sunrise in what's known as the lotus pose. The lotus pose is where your feet are in front of you together and your hands are out in front of you like this, and the sun hits this whole section. It maximizes the sunlight on their bodies, and it warms them up. It's a very zen pose, and so the lemurs do that every morning. And so I did this one, and kind of like the sloth, I think the darks got away from me in places, but not not too terribly bad. This one is not. I don't think this one is as carried away as the Sloth. I think this one's okay. I think this one would still work on a t-shirt. Pamela says it has to do with wet over wet to draw out the paint towards the water, which makes or gives a fuzzy texture. Yes, I've done that. I've just never heard it called a fuzzy chicken technique. I do that all the time when I'm doing clouds, or when I want to do transition color. I'll put the base color down, and then I'll put the color I want it to transition to, and then I'll water between them until the water connects to the other color, and then let it bleed back out, and then that way it transitions in the middle, like this edge right here. I have done that. I didn't think about trying it on the yarn. So I think the lemur's face is kind of lost too. You can't really tell. He's looking upwards. It kind of takes away from the lemurishness of his face. That could easily be a cat. I think the illustration did a better job of preserving the lemurishness. I really like the illustration. That just looks fun to me. I could absolutely see that on a t-shirt or a coffee mug or stickers. But I think this one turned out way better than this one. I think if I'm going to critique this, I'm going to go with the line work again. I think that line work should be cleaner. So going forward, what I feel like I need to focus on is I need to focus on controlling my lights and darks. I need to focus on my line work. My contrasts. My contrasts and my line work are my what I feel like are my weaknesses that I need to pay more attention to. Most of the time, I think I've got the colors down. Most of the time, I think I did a pretty good job of capturing the color of the item. Yeah, slow down. That's the kicker. Slow down. Don't dive into the. Don't try to push through it as fast as I can. But I also, Pamela, in my defense, I grew up watching Bob Ross, who did a freaking landscape painting in 20 minutes, because honestly, he had 5 minutes of setup time and 5 minutes of shutdown time. So in 20 minutes, he did that whole landscape. And he's like, we're going to put happy little trees. And we're going to put snow on the mountain. And you ever make a mistake? I've made mistakes before. We're going to make this mistake a third. You know? I grew up watching Bob Ross. There's a I have his book. I can't think of his name. There's a portrait artist who did 10-minute portraits, and he would do 2 portraits every episode on PBS. He would do 2 portraits per episode, and I bought his book. I don't see it though. And it was supposed to be a series of books, and as far as I can tell, he only ever made the first book, and he never came back to finish the series. Probably because he never sold very many copies of the first book. But that's what I grew up watching, was the instant gratification artists, the ones who could just go slap, 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 blam, it's an art. You know, the guy on Johnny Carson that would run out there and the music would be pumping, and he'd run out there and he'd slap his hand on the canvas and the music would be pumping, and he'd run out there and he'd slap his hand on the canvas and the music would be pumping, And then in a little 5-minute segment, not 2-minute segment, because it's Johnny Carson, in a little 2-minute segment, and he flipped the canvas over, and it would be Jimi Hendrix, you know, and he did it in 2 minutes, just slapping the canvas as he ran by. That's the stuff I grew up with. And so when I draw and I paint, I feel like I have to keep that kind of pace. And you're right. I should slow down. Enjoy the process more. Oil and water don't mix. What are we talking about, oil and water? This is all watercolor. What? Okay, so again, going forward, looking over my last 6 months worth of work, I would say the things I want to focus on are line work, and I want to focus on my contrast. I want to make sure that I'm not overburdening things with contrast or neglecting contrast when it needs it. So I'll focus more on those things going forward. Any other suggestions? Slow down, enjoy the process. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. We didn't make any art this week, but I think we made some headway. Rick, Pamela, Claudia, Ivy, thank you so much for joining me. Char, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the chat. The feedback is fantastic. And remember, next week, if you want to be part of if you want to have a critique in the middle, we can have a critique in the middle. Just send your images into blade@artisticbiker.com with the subject line of easel. If you want to be a part of what's on your easel, or critique if you want us as a group to critique it. So that said, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to this every week when I get to art with my besties. Be sure, I got a wild hair up my nose. So my mustache, I have these hairs on my mustache that all the rest of my mustache hairs grow out like they're supposed to. And I have like 1 or 2 right through here. They go blink, and they go, can't stand it. Be sure and tune in next week. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance till somebody says they see me dancing. Tomorrow morning, 5:30 in the morning, Texas time, I'm going to do this Isis figurine. We're going to talk about the popularity of Isis as a worshipful deity, and how her statuettes appeared all throughout the world, the known world at the time, all the way up until nearly the Common Era, all the way up until AD, and maybe in some areas a little bit even further beyond. We'll talk about how Cleopatra was thought to be a reincarnation of Isis, or a demigod, Isis in the flesh. We'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. If you happen to be up, be sure and give us a join. Hit your notification bell so you don't miss it. But otherwise, be sure and tune in next week. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. Click the clicky thingies this way. But most important thing here is that less rum. What do you mean less rum? Why would I take the rum? Why is the rum gone? Why do I have to not have rum? That's